Hey guys, my name is Octoman, and today I want to answer a request with that coming tutorial. And this tutorial is going to be how to spawn items or objects on different positions and delete them after a given amount of time. So I'm going to do it with some art or kind of coin thingies. I just use some cylinders over here and just use some material on them. So at first I want to go over and make sure that my coins are currently set up right. So at first I have a prefabs folder over here and I need to drag those coins which don't have anything special except the collider and stuff they have given by when you're creating that game objects. You can also use your own geometry and use your own collider and stuff on that. Okay, what I want to do, I want to make sure that those two coins are prefabs, so I'm going to select them in here and drag them into the prefabs folder. If I cannot do that like that, then I will go over and do it like that. So I have my coins to be a prefab. You can see that if the text over here is going to be bluish instead of instead of black. Okay, so with that prefabs done, I can use them the whole time and instantiate them from that prefabs, and they do whatever they have to do. And also, if I change the prefabs or stuff inside of the prefabs, all instantiated objects from instantiated prefabs will have the same stuff inside of them. Okay, what I want to do at first is I want to make sure that I can destroy the prefabs after a given amount of time. So what I want to do is I go to my scripts folder and I have a subfolder over here which is spawn scripts, and in here I'm going to create a new C# script and I'm going to call this one destroy objects, or destroy script is better. So this destroy script will be on each of that coins, and those coins will have okay, it doesn't matter, the solution couldn't load. Just give me a second to fix that. Okay, sorry for that. Just sometimes the solution in MonoDevelop is going to be a bit crazy here. But anyway, anyhow, I need for that destroy script, I'm going to use a public variable which is going to be a float variable, and where I want to store delay, or I'm going to call that one delay or destroy time. So, and I'm going to do or set this one to maybe 3.0f. So 3 seconds are needed to destroy or actually call a destroy function. And I don't need update for that one, I think. So in the start, I just go over and write destroy. There it is, and in brackets I'm going to destroy the current game object which or where that script is on. And in here, after that destroy, I can set a timer, as you can see, as a float variable, and I will go and enter destroy time. So after the time, the object is going to be destroyed. Pretty simple, pretty quick, and should work like a charm. So I go over and drag that script onto the yellow and onto the red coin. The red coin might be later on stay a bit longer on the position, but for now it's just going to be okay. And since I added those scripts not directly in the prefabs but in the game scene, I need to press here to apply all the changes, and same for the red coin. I need to apply that, so the prefab, or actually, the prefab of that object gets the same information in the destroy script itself. Okay, the next thing is I have that small item spawn game object over here in my hierarchy, and this is, if you don't see that panel here, you can just go over here and choose whatever icon you like. If you have none, you wouldn't see that that item or that game object. So I use any color I want, doesn't matter. And under that I added some spawn points, which are those green diamonds over here. The sign or the icon actually is the same as I have done with that, but it's not text-wise, it's just a small diamond. You can also use a point or whatever. It's just to make sure that you can see what you're doing or where actually the stuff is going to be spawned. Okay, and on that spawn item or item spawn game object, I want to make sure that I can use that and add the script I need for all that spawn points. And so that's what I'm going to do now. So I create a new C# script and I'm going to call this one spawn items. You can name that as however you like, and I want to make sure that on spawn item I'm going to actually place the script on that. If you later on want to make different spawn positions or whatever, you can just drag and drop that into the prefabs again and do some other points where you can, after a long or small amount of time, just spawn items. You can also use the whole world map if you like. So if you have a big world and you want to spawn treasure chests after 3 minutes or so in any of that points, no matter how much you use, I'm going to show you that in a second, then you can just fill in some stuff inside and the player can just go over there and wait the 3 minutes or the time you giving that or whatever. Or you can also spawn a boss monster on that position or several boss monsters on different positions, so the players are able to farm them on that spots. Okay, so let's head over to the spawn item script. Hopefully MonoDevelop is not freaking out again. It's not. Okay, and for that I can do two things. At first, I want to make sure that I can store the transforms, or actually the positions of all my spawn points, into an array. So what I need is at first a public variable, or actually it's a public array, which is called transform, or the type of transform. And I'm going to call this one spawn points. So in here I want to store all my spawn points, but I need to make sure that it's an array or a transform array, so I need to use that brackets that I don't know how they are called. Angled brackets, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I can set the size later on in the inspector, so it depends on how much spawn points you want, and you can just easily drag in all your spawn points in the corresponding positions. So the next one is I need a timer variable where I can say how long does it take to spawn that to spawn any object inside of that. So I'm going to use a float variable, since I use milliseconds and not just seconds or full seconds, wouldn't make sense. So I'm going to go and name this one spawn time, and I can basically just set it to a amount of maybe 1.5 seconds, so it will be better visible. Later on you can change that in the inspector too, since it's public. You can also make it private so it's not changeable in the inspector itself, but I wouldn't recommend that. But however you like it, you can use it. And the next thing is I need to know what am I actually going to spawn. So I need the type of game object, and I want my coins inside of that, so I'm just going to call that one coins. So in the inspector I can just drag in all my coins. At first I want to go over and just use it with one yellow coin, and later on I'm going to do it as I have done in the transform. I want to make sure that I can or I will actually use an array of game objects instead of just one object. But for now I just want to go over and do it with one game object, and then later on I will change that stuff. Okay, I don't need to initialize anything. I need to make sure that I can instantiate that stuff whenever I want. So the first thing is I want to write my own function, which maybe later on you need to set to public, but since it's going to happen internally, there shouldn't be any problems with being that one private. Okay, so I can call that one spawn items or spawn coins. Is going to be called my function. You can name that again like however you like. And inside of that I want to make basically I want to make two things. And first I want to go, I know I need another variable which is going to be private, but I'm going to do it inside of that function. So this variable I need inside of that is going to be an integer which is counting or actually storing one needed, or one how shall I say, this integer is going to be hold the spawn index. I'm going to call it spawn index. That index is storing one of that spawn points array numbers, and this is going to be calculated by random. So I want to make sure that any of that spawn points can be used. Random.range, and there you can see you can set a min and a max value inside, which are float variables. So I can set also set integer values inside when I use integer, or I can use float when I have a float variable, but for now I need integer variables. And I want the range to be from 0, which is the first index or the first number in the array. Every array starts at 0, and I want the maximum of that corresponding array. So I'm going to go over and take spawn points dot length. So this is going to be set. So this one will set the index number of the array randomly, or actually every time that function is called, it's going to take any of that numbers inside of that range, inside of that array. And after that I can go over and instantiate the game object. So let's type this one inside. So first thing is I want to make sure that I'm going to take the game object itself, which is called coin or coins. This is what I want to spawn. Then the next thing is I want to make sure that I get the transformed position and the transform rotation of that spawn index. So first thing is going to be spawn points, and inside of that spawn points I need to take the spawn index, which is calculated one step ahead or in front. And of that one, since it's a transform information, I need to make sure that I take the position of that one. And the same for the rotation, so just copy that one and place that inside of here and use the rotation. So no matter how your spawn point actually is rotated, this is going to be happen or actually automatically rotated that coin however the spawn point is rotated. So that's it for the spawn coin spawn coin variable. Next thing is I want to make sure that this is called in the spawn time I have set here. So I can do two different things. I want to show you the easiest one. So if the game is going to start, I can use a small invoke repeating. So invoke repeating means it invokes or repeats the current or the steps, or actually it repeatedly calls spawn coins, which is a string, or it needs to be a string in here and without any typo, of course. So I want to call the function spawn coins after a given amount of time. I can set any time in here, and the repeat rate. So this is the first time when the game starts. You might want to wait, I don't know how many seconds, and then you want to go over and set the spawn time to that. Or you just go over and do it like I do, just take spawn time 2 times. So after the start of that script, or that script, it waits spawn time, so 1.5 seconds, and repeat the same. Then it's called that function, and after that he's going to, or the script is going to repeat that every 1.5 seconds. So let's save this one and test it out. I go over in my item spawn. In here I have all my spawn points, and currently I can see over here I have 8 spawn points. So I will increase the spawn points array to 8. As you can see, the first element is 0. So my range I was setting in there is going to start at 0. You can also say, okay, I don't want that one to be started at 0. You can just leave that first one alone and choose the other ones. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So make sure all of them are in. And there we go. Here's my spawn time. The amount of time which is needed to get the coin spawn. And the next thing is I have the game object called coins, or actually, that coin. And I want to make sure, don't drag it from there. You want to make sure that you drag it outside of your prefabs folder, which is going to be this one. The coin does not do anything except that destroy script. So let's see what is happening inside of the game view. There's the first one, the second one, and now you can see the coins are repeatedly spawned every 1.5 seconds on any given position. Sometimes it might also happen that 2 or 3 are overlaying like that, or like now. And also you can see only 2 or at maximum 3 of that yellow coins are there. So if you want to make it more right, you can just go over and rotate that spawn points to the right rotation, so the coin will be like it is here in the scene. So let's just check out how I need to rotate them. So I can go over and take that spawn point. And I'm going to use a normal X rotation by 90 or minus 90. So maybe I can take them all. Let's try that. I'm going to set them all to 90. So I have rotated all of them to 90. And now all coins should be like that. As you can see, pretty easy. So I have a random spawning over there, and can spawn at any position of the playfield, or actually or on any of that given transform positions after a given amount of time. So this is the first thing I wanted to show. The second one is I want to make sure that I can do different, or choose one of those game object. I just go over and use two. Maybe you can later on you can use a lot of them, and you might want to check later on also if the spot is free or it is not free. So you need to need to do some more scripting with Collider. But this isn't the one what I wanted to go over right now. Okay, what I want now is I want to make sure that instead of using the game object coins, I'm going to use an array of game objects. Going to save this one once again. Going over to Unity and also go into the item spawn. There's a small error over there. What kind of error? Let's see. Yeah, he is not funny about that one. Okay, at first I'm going to type in a 0 in here. So I want to call one of that game object inside of that instantiated array, instantiated object. So I take one of actually chosen by the chosen again randomly outside of the game object array. So at first I want to make sure that the array is going to be right. There we go. And I take or choose a size of 2 because I only have 2 coins. Again, go inside of the prefabs and drag inside of that the red coin and the yellow coin. Again, you can choose whatever or whichever item you like, and how many you like. And in here, I want to make sure that I do the same stuff as I have done inside of that. And I want to take that number and spawn the corresponding stuff outside. Can also maybe later on use a for loop for that, but I don't think that it's in any way useful. So let's get over there. Again, I save that which is going to be the object index. So I call this one object index. Object index. And inside of that I want to make the same stuff as I have done before. So I want a random number in a range of between 0 and the coins coins.length of the array. Okay, and there we go. And then inside of that bracket I'm not going to take the number 0. I want to make sure that he is taking object index. So no matter which, he is going to take the 0 or a 1 inside of that, because I only have 2 game objects. And that should be pretty much it. So back again, I'm going to save the scene just to make sure that nothing is going to crash. There we go. And now he should use reds or yellows whenever he wants. There you go. So this is a pretty easy way to spawn stuff or spawn enemies maybe on different locations in your world space, or can do that with chests or with boss monsters. And no matter how long the time is, Invoke Repeating is going to do all this stuff. Just increase or decrease the spawn time by whatever you like. And if it is something like coins, you might want to add some rotation to that. So once the object is going to get spawned, or actually it's active, then the coin is going to get rotated. So let me just do that to fulfill that small stuff again, and then we're actually ready with that small tutorial. So back to mono-develop, I'm going to use the update function for that small rotation stuff, and for sure I need some more variables for that. I'm going to delete this one to clear stuff up and leave a line over there. So what I want is another public variable, which is going to be float, and this is going to be called rotate speed. And I can set this one to maybe 8f. Yeah, and what I want is if the oh, it's in the wrong, sorry, it's in the wrong script. Delete that. I want to make sure that you can add a new script for that. I want to make sure that I'm not going too deep inside of that, or have too much scripts right now, just for that small stuff I wanted to show. So again, I need void update for that, and take the rotation speed, and in here I want to just transform dot translate. Whoops. Give me a second. Oh, it's transform rotate. So I want to rotate stuff in one axis, and I'm going to need to set this one into a vector. And since I just changed some stuff in here, I'm not 100% sure in which direction I need to set this one. So at first I want to make, use vector. That's wrong. Vector.right. Yeah, there we go. And I want to make sure that I use time.delta time to have always the right speed, and want to increase or use the rotate speed as the fixed value. So let's check this one out once again. So back to Unity, and let's see if it's working. It's not. Oh yeah, it is, but it's pretty slow. I'm going to make this one let's see what 80 does. And since it's public, it wouldn't change, so I'm going to change this pretty quick to be private. And let's test this one out once again. Okay, so this is 80, and now you can see the rotation is wrong, but they all act by their own. So no idea what 80 does, what 800 does, but should be fast. There we go, that's the speed. So since the right one is wrong, I'm going to change it to up. So that is really acting like a coin. Something is happening, but not what I wanted. Basically, it should be up. Yeah. Gonna resave this. Something strange. Gonna recheck that, and let's see. So again, as I said, I needed to check all that axes, and the right or the up and down axis wouldn't be right because it would just roll around. So I need to change it to forward. And save this one once again. And back to Unity. And now you can see this is the right rotation we want. And all of that stuff is going to be spawned on random positions with random items, and I hope it was helpful. As I said, it was a request by another user of Unity, and maybe that is what he wanted, and hope you enjoyed this video actually, and if you like that, just thumb it up. If you have any questions about that or anything unclear again, just write me a comment or leave me a message, or whatever you like, and I try to answer as best as I can. Okay, that's it for that part. See you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed. If you like that, just rate, comment, subscribe to my channel, and so on and so forth. See you in the next one. Bye bye.